Hello, I'm Cheryl Austin, and I'm representing the Cooperative Extension Program, Family and Community Health Unit. Guess what? It is February, and February is Heart Month. And so we're going to talk a little bit about spicing it up. And when I talk about spicing it up, I'm talking about getting beyond just the taste of salt and pepper. First, take a few seconds and just think about what is your favorite herb or spice to cook with. I have two. Mine are garlic and ginger. Did you know there's a difference between spices and herbs? If you didn't know, I'm glad you're thinking about it. Spices tend to grow in tropical areas where it's hot and humid. They come from the bark of plants and trees like cinnamon, or the roots like ginger and garlic, the seeds like poppy seeds, sesame seeds, or the fruit of plants and trees like allspice, paprika, and black pepper. Herbs, on the other hand, grow in more temperate climates where it's more moderate, the temperature is not as extreme. They come from leaves and tender stems of plants like parsley, thyme, dill, sage, and celery leaves. There are heart healthy benefits as well as other benefits to the body when we cook with more herbs and spices instead of just using salt. One, we can reduce or eliminate the sugar by using more allspice or cloves or ginger, cinnamon, or nutmeg. We can also reduce or eliminate our salt. Try pepper or basil, garlic powder, ginger, curry, cumin, onion, or dill. And we don't get all of the extra calories when we are cooking with more herbs and spices. Some people like to season with breadings and batters and gravies, sauces, or frying up their food. But all of that isn't as necessary when we use more herbs and spices. Some tips for cooking. Unless you use a lot of herbs and spices, it's best to buy small jars because they do lose their potency or their strength over time. If you have to double a recipe, do not double spices and herbs. Increase the amount by 1 to 1.5 times. Just continue to taste your food and add more if you need to. If you're using fresh herbs, you want to add them near the end of cooking or right before you serve because that prolonged heat can cause that flavor and aroma to get lost. If you're using dried spices and herbs, those are more ideal for dishes when you have to cook for an hour or more, like soups or stews. Wash your herbs when you're ready to use them, not way ahead of time. And you can just wash them thoroughly under warm water. Also, avoid sprinkling dry herbs directly from the container into a steaming pot. You don't want moisture to get into that container. Instead, use a dry spoon to measure. And then some tips for storage. To prevent flavor and color loss, avoid moisture, avoid heat, avoid light, and avoid air. You want that container to be tightly covered in a dark place away from sunlight, like a cupboard or drawer. Avoid storing your herbs and spices above the dishwasher or the microwave or the stove or refrigerator, anything that's going to cause it to be next to those extreme temperatures. You want to refrigerate paprika, chili powder, and red pepper if you want to keep the color. As a general rule, keep herbs and spices for about 1 year. You can keep whole spices for 2 years. You can check an herb or ground spice by rubbing a small amount in your hand. If the aroma is fresh, rich, you can smell it immediately, you can still use it to flavor your foods. If not, it might be time to get rid of it. You can check a whole spice by breaking, crushing, or scraping it before you smell it. So again, this is Cheryl Austin representing the Cooperative Extension Program, Family and Community Health Unit, and remember to spice it up for heart health.